Hello, this is Paul, and welcome to part two of my series chronicling my job loss journey. In the first video, we talked about the three things that once I started doing, I started to feel better about everything, about being out of work, about my prospects for finding work again, about my place in the community, all of those things. Those three things were networking, volunteering, and using AI to learn skills. In this video, we're going to drill down on that first one, networking, which is something that I've spent over a year doing, anywhere from 5 to 25 or 30 hours a week. And I have isolated 8 things that I learned that I feel like if you can put into practice, they will make you a much better networker. Through all of that work, I have learned a lot about networking, and I would love to share some of those things with you today. So, allow me to present, drum roll, please, the 8 things that I have learned about networking that if you can put them into practice, they will make you much better at this very essential skill. First up is that you get better at it the more you do it. This is true for most things in life, but it is certainly true for networking. The first few events I went to, I hardly talked to anyone, but eventually I got out of my shell and I got more confident about what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it. Until I got to a point now where I walk into a room of complete strangers and I feel mostly okay, that I'm going to be all right, that I'm going to say things that I need to say, that I'm going to listen, I'm going to ask good questions, simply because I've done it enough to show myself that I can be trusted to do it well. Next up is the importance of active listening. Active listening means really paying attention to what the other person is saying and asking good, thoughtful questions to clarify the things they are trying to communicate to you. This is an excellent way to get off on the good foot with pretty much anyone you're going to meet at a networking event. I've often heard it said that people think less about what it is you say and more about how you make them feel. And starting off a potential friendship or business relationship by making that person feel really good by showing interest in them is an excellent way to get off on the right foot. Third on the list is that a 30-second pitch is a really good tool to have as long as it's not scripted. You will run into a lot of folks who have that scripted 30-second, a minute, 2 minute, 3 minute pitch that in it is baked in perfectly every single thing they want to get out of their head and into your head. The problem with that approach is it makes the receiver or listener feeling like they are watching an infomercial rather than having a conversation with someone. So it is incredibly important to have in your head those important things that you want to get out to the folks that you meet at a networking event, but have bullet points. Don't have a rehearsed pitch. The advantage of bullet points is when you meet someone, you can weave in those things you want to share with them contextually, based off of something they said, based on something someone else in the room said, based on where you are, those kind of things. And it makes it allows you to get those things out much more conversationally. So, yes, 30-second pitch is good, but do not script it. Just bake in those into your brain, those few bullets that you want to get out, and you will be just fine. At number 4 is something that I and a lot of people have had to learn the hard way when it comes to networking, and that is that you have a limited gas tank for this type of activity. If you remember at the beginning of this video, I said that I networked from 5 to 25 or 30 hours a week. Those 25 to 30-hour weeks were rough. There were days where I would go to the fourth or fifth event of the day and realize that my social gas tank was on complete empty. So you need to strike a balance. Yes, if you go to a few networking events and you start to feel invigorated from just sitting at home feeling sorry for yourself for being out of work, I understand the desire to like hop on that train. You know, if some is good, more is better. But there is a law of diminishing returns at some point. So listen to your body, listen to your mind. Be respectful of both of those things as you put together your weekly calendar. My fifth tip is the one I think is the most important to unemployed folks looking for work, and that is that you always have more to offer than it might feel like you do. You don't want to approach someone with, I'm out of work, please help me find a job. Instead, you want to say, looking for your next opportunity, and then immediately start highlighting skills and abilities and passions that you have. That will allow you to be in a much better negotiating position rather than creating a power dynamic where that person has the thing you need and you're begging for it. If you can manage to do that, you will find that you feel better about every conversation you have, and everyone else is much more likely to want to help you because they don't feel like they're having to solve all of your life's problems, but instead maybe assisting you in a way where they can see a value proposition coming back to them as well. My sixth tip is that depth is more important than breadth. I see folks all the time at a networking event of like 50 people, folks that are trying to have conversations with all the other 49 people in an hour. It usually doesn't go very well. So instead, what you want to do is if you're having a conversation with somebody, it's not going great, then feel free to cut it short and be like, hey man, thanks for your time, good luck, blah, blah, blah. But if it's going well, let it go well. Don't feel that you have to cut it short for whatever reason just because you want to get to everybody in the room. Even if you could, a lot of times you're not going to. And that's not the goal of networking. The goal of networking isn't to have your voice be heard by everyone. The goal of networking is to find collaborators, friends, business partners. And you do that by having really meaningful, thoughtful conversations. So don't feel like you have to meet everyone in the room. Just concentrate on making a couple of really good connections that you want to follow up with. I usually use the rule of two. If you go to something that has like 30, 40, 50 people, if you can just meet two folks that you want to follow up with and that you had a good conversation with, consider that a successful journey. Coming in at number 7 is that introverts are just as good at networking as extroverts. And here's a hint, we might actually be better. Yes, I said we because I am an introvert. When I go to an event like that, like the ones that we've talked about, big networking events, I am usually exhausted afterwards, and I don't want to talk to anyone for days, sometimes weeks afterwards. And that's what introvert and extrovert really means. Introvert means social activities like that drain you, whereas extroverts are empowered by those things. And it's really easy to think that the extrovert who loves talking to folks is going to make the best networker. But if you've been paying attention to these tips, listening is really where you score the most points in networking, not necessarily talking to people. And in a lot of cases, introverts are better at active listening, asking good questions, and being diligent on following up, those kind of things. So if you are an introvert, do not think you are disadvantaged by being that when it comes to networking. In some cases, you might actually be better than our gregarious friends on the other side. And finally, my 8th tip, follow up, wait for it, follow up. I am a coach who teaches folks how to network and also how to use AI effectively. But on that networking piece, when we go through and we evaluate folks like, what are you good at in networking? What are you not good at in networking? 95% of the people, their weakness is following up. So yes, you go to the event, you find a couple of folks that you really click with. Now what do? you, within 24 to 48 hours, make sure you send that note either on LinkedIn or email or text, DM, whatever, that you had a really great time. It was great to talk to them. Would love to connect soon. And if they also agree that connecting again soon is the way to go, make sure to get that coffee on the calendar as soon as possible. And when you have that hour-long one-on-one, and if it goes well, make sure that you're following up after that as well. That can be pinging them DM wise, or following them on LinkedIn and commenting on their posts, or sending them DMs on LinkedIn, or any number of things. But make sure that at least once a month you are in their head somewhere, as I call pinging their brain. That is what successful relationship building looks like. Making that initial connection and then fostering those connections going forward. There you have it. Those are my 8 tips on being a better networker. If you can incorporate all of those into your networking, you will, 1, feel much better about the whole process of networking, 2, feel more confident about your abilities to make those real connections, and 3, get a lot better results and more meaningful relationships for your networking. I do coach one-on-one folks on these principles and other principles, where I meet with my clients and we tailor a plan specifically to any strengths or weaknesses that they are dealing with their own networking journey. If you would like extra help in that vein, I would love it if you would reach out to me. My contact information is below. Would be happy to talk to you about ways that we could help you become a better networker. Otherwise, I really appreciate the time that you took to watch this video, and I hope there was something in here that helped you get more confidence in this very important skill that a lot of people don't use the way they should to get better opportunities. If this video was helpful, I would appreciate it if you liked and subscribed to the channel. It helps me out a lot as I try to grow this and try to reach more people and help them. But anyway, as always with these videos, I really appreciate your time and thank you so much for watching. We will talk soon.